Greetings and welcome to Bubble Hearthing. I'm Bubble and you're fantastic. And today we're going to be talking about all of the black cards from Strixhaven School of Mages, the new set coming out pretty soon for Magic the Gathering, where you have, basically a Hogwarts kind of theme. I know, I said it. I shouldn't say it. I don't know, copyright everywhere. JK Rowling, no! Okay, but anyhow. Let's get into it. These are all the black cards, and you might see a familiar face back there. We'll get to her when we get to her, and we will get to her. But let's go. Arrogant Poet, a 2-mana 2/1. Whenever it attacks, you may pay 2 life. If you do, it gains flying until the end of the turn. I was gonna say lifelink, like you're gonna pay 2 life to maybe gain 2 life. That's weird. No, it can gain flying. That's actually pretty good. In limited, this is like pretty aggressive for a 2-mana, potentially 2/1 flyer. Alright. Unfortunately, you want to do that like in an aggressive sense, and unless you're super aggressive, you're paying 2 life to deal 2 damage. It's not really a great point you want to be in. Plus, then your opponent waits for you to pay the life, then they kill it afterwards with some sort of removal. Feels bad. So, in that way, I'm going to say, like, it's going to be a 2 out of 5. I'm going to say it, normally, if it was just a 2-mana 2/1, it'd be like a 1 out of 5. But because it can get flying and maybe it works for you, I'll bump it up to a 2. Standard is useless. What are you doing? Do you really want to run black flyers? I mean, I guess you can. There are some out there, but this shouldn't be one of them. Alrighty. Baleful Mastery. Oh, a rare already. Look at that. Oh, and this is also a mastery card, isn't it? Yes, so every monocolor, has a mastery card where the cost can be reduced if you want to pay a reduced thing at a different sort of price. This is the one for black. 4 mana instant speed, but you can pay 2 instead. If you paid 2, an opponent draws a card, and exile target creature or planeswalker. Actually, this card is really, really nice. Really, really nice. So there's usually the, 4 mana exile target thing. We've seen it before in Vraska's Contempt, and Feed the Serpent, I believe, is also 4 mana. And now they give you the option to pay 2. Your opponent gets a card, but you get that thing out of the way. Okay. Okay, guys, I'm gonna hopefully not say something that's too out there, because hopefully people agree with me, but if they don't, I don't care. 5 out of 5. Oh my god, this card's amazing. What are you doing here? Sure, like, you can just pay 2 and whatever. Maybe they draw the card again, maybe they draw a better card. Unfortunate. But if you have to, you do. Otherwise, 4 mana is not a whole lot to pay for this sort of effect. It's very, very doable. Does Feed the Serpent see any play? Absolutely not. It sees 0 play. Does Vraska's Contempt see play? Yeah. Did Eat to Extinction see play? Only when it first came out and then no. So overall, that effect is kind of slow, but the fact that it can cost 2, I think, is what pushes it from like a 3 to a 5. That's how amazing something reduced by 2 mana is. Wow, especially when you're going down from 4 to 2, it actually cut the cost in half. Wow, that's a great card. Holy crap! I expect to see this everywhere. This is a real card, folks. This is a real card. I know it's digital right now, but it will be real. I'll be able to hold it in my hands. Right now, all I have is this Immersturm Raider. What? This is not you. This is a different card. Oh, you're not even the same color. Get out of here. But fantastic card. All right, Brackish Trudge. This might not be a card. I don't know. 3 mana 4/2 enters tapped. Okay. You can pay 2 and return it from your graveyard to your hand, and activate only if you gained life this turn. So that's a strange requirement there. I don't know why it enters tapped either. Like 3 mana 4/2 is fine. If it said return from your graveyard to the battlefield, I would understand that. Like, sure, and then you want it to enter tapped all day every day. Unless you're using this as like a way to sacrifice things every turn, because there's a few cards in green and black that want you to sacrifice stuff, then I see not a whole lot to it. It does only cost 2 though, so you have to find a way to gain life. Now, in green and black, I think it's safe to say this time I want to avoid the guild, the school names, because there's some controversy there. Is it Witherbloom or is it Golgari? Oh, but I'll say in Witherbloom because it's kind of specific to this one. There are the pest tokens where when they die you gain 1 life. So it might make it a little more accessible. So if you have any number of those, this could actually see some play, just because paying 2 isn't that expensive to bring it back to your hand. It just doesn't have to come in tapped though. It really doesn't have to come in tapped. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna say like a 2.5 out of 5 in limited. It's actually not too bad. Maybe even a 3 if you have the right synergies. Standard, no, but limited, okay. Callous Blood Mage. Oh, this is a weird one, I'm gonna tell you that much. A 3 mana 2/1. When it enters the battlefield, you choose 1. Of 3 options, you pick 1. Either make a pest token, so there you go. You make, oh, did I already, I think I already went over this one in the Witherbloom review, but maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But it makes a pest token like I was talking about. Or you draw a card, lose 1 life, or exile target player's graveyard. I mean, it's interesting seeing a little Tormod crypt thing there, and I think there was some vague synergy with that, with like other cards that came out in the same colors that I mentioned at some point, so that's pretty good. And it's not actually a bad effect to do if you want to do this against like rogues or against anything really. Exile your own graveyard, exile your opponent's graveyard if they have like some, I don't know, Croxa or the Ox of Agonis or anything, you know, it's a fine thing. Otherwise, probably 3 mana 2/1 draw a card, and take a life and take some damage, which isn't fantastic. In limited, this actually isn't very good because it costs a lot for a 2/1 should cost like 1.5 mana maybe. It should not cost 2. Oh, we can draw a card. Okay, I would say 2 mana 2/1 draw a card is good. For 1 more mana, it doesn't do much else for you. So this is not at all a first pick in limited. I see no reason to do that. In standard, this is okay. Maybe just relegated to the sideboard against certain decks to use the last ability, because you don't really want to use the first 2 for much, unless you're doing some weird pest synergy. Then potentially, even then, I think there's better ways to get pests on the board. Okay, Crushing Disappointment. That's what you were. 4 mana instant speed. Each player loses 2 life. You draw 2 cards. I feel like in limited this actually is quite good, like 3 out of 5 worthy, because instant speed, draw 2 is nice. And sure, you lose 2 life, but so does your opponent. Yeah, that's actually really not bad at all. In standard is pointless, but in limited, yeah, like 3, maybe even 3.5 out of 5. I would run almost as many copies as I could with this card. I'm just trying not to fall too far behind. Hopefully the cards you draw make up for the life that you lost. And the fact that it actually hits your opponent as well is what pushes it over the edge of being like just average. This is clearly above average. Okay, Essence Infusion. 2 mana sorcery. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature. It gains lifelink until end of turn. This could be an instant speed thing, and it would be okay. So for sorcery speed, it only gains lifelink for the turn. I mean, I guess it's a cheap sorcery if you want to do some kind of magecrafty stuff. We'll get to those later. But otherwise, it's not very good. No, like a 1 out of 5. And I mean, the counters stay there, so it's decent. It can potentially help you push and get like a little further ahead. But it costs 2 mana to give something +2/+2, which is like, okay, I can also have a creature, you know. It's like a 1.5 out of 5 in limited. I probably wouldn't run this card. It could say learn on the bottom, which is the thing that lets you get a lesson from the sideboard or whatever, and I still wouldn't really rate it very highly. In standard, it sees 0 play as well, and we're going on to Flunk. Oh my goodness, oh no, what could have possibly done? What could you have done? Oh my goodness, how could you have foreseen this coming? Alright, 2 mana instant speed. Target creature gets -X/-X until end of turn, where X is 7 minus the number of cards in that controller's hand. So 2 mana, potentially kill whatever. I mean, I guess on turn 2, your opponent's probably going to have, it was like 5 or 6 cards in hand usually, maybe somewhere in that range. So essentially, like, if you play it on curve, it's maybe like a -2/-2, which is okay for 2 mana. It's not great, you know, there's actually really be like more of a 1 mana thing, but it's alright. But played later on in the game where your opponent might have like, you know, maybe 3 cards, 2 mana -4/-4 is legit, and having 3 cards in your hand is a very real scenario. In your opponent's hand, notably, not your hand. In limited, I should say. In standard, this might be like a sideboard card to see, because if your opponent's playing control, not only do they not have that many creatures in their deck, but they're gonna have a whole lot of cards in their hand. So this is beyond useless. And if they're playing something with like blue and red, like card draw, obviously it's not going to be as good. But if they're just playing like mono red, throw all your creatures on the board, it could be pretty good. It could even be pretty good pretty quickly. So yeah, not bad. In limited, I'll say like a 3 out of 5, maybe even 3.5. This is semi-solid removal, and it gets you out indestructible, so that's cool, worth noting there. In standard, I would only play this in the sideboard. But, and I play best of 1 all the time, so what sideboard am I talking about? I know. But still, I would only play this in the sideboard. But given that I would probably play it there, I'll say like a 2.5 out of 5. It could be better, and I wouldn't be too surprised. Go Blank. See, the background for this is so like kind of yellow gold that it makes me think it's a rare card, even though it's not. Just saying. Alright, 3 mana for a sorcery. Target player discards 2 cards, then exile all cards from their graveyard. They get rid of 2, so this is Mind Rot with upside, right? Which is okay, fair. You know, Mind Rot's pretty just boring, so you're allowed to do that. Okay. Okay, not a whole lot really going on there. We don't have many graveyard synergy decks, so you don't want to really target yourself and then exile all your cards just to stick to the rogues and be like, haha, I'm gonna go drown the lock later. Yeah, you just paid 3 mana and used 3 cards to exile your graveyard, where you can have played 1 Tormod's Crypt and done the same thing for 0 mana and 1 card. Yeah. So you want to target your opponent with this, obviously. In limited, this is like a 1.5 maybe. Having your opponent discard 2 cards is largely not very effective. It's not really worth it, because they still get to play big things unless they only have 2 cards in hand. And don't wait for that dream scenario. I've waited for that like too many times and I paid the price. We're like, oh well, now they have 3, I'll wait, I'll get them soon. Oh no, they played a big thing. Oh no, they played another big thing. Oh, how could I not have seen this coming? Yeah. Standard 0. Limited, like I said, like 1.5ish. Okay, hunt for specimens. Oh, we have a learn card. Cool. Alright, 2 mana sorcery, create a pest. The pest is worth about 1 mana, only because it gains you life and there's synergy involved with that. If you have no synergies with the life gain, it's worth about half a mana. It's like, okay, 0.5. You could easily have a 1 mana thing that says make 2 1/1 pests. That could be a reasonable card. So for 2 mana, absolutely not. But you get to learn, which means you may reveal a lesson card you own from outside the game and put it into your hand, or discard a card to draw a card. First, let's say what's outside the game. It's your sideboard. Unless you're playing just casually with your friends, then it's your collection, whatever you have laying around. Okay. And what is a lesson card? Is a card that, in general, has an effects that we've already kind of seen before. There's one that destroys things. There's one that get some lands from your deck, draw some cards. You know, it's a toolbox. I want to say that is your toolbox thing, where you put a few things in there and you get to choose what effect you want. There are plenty of lessons that are colorless, as well as some that are color specific, but they cost more for what they do. For instance, the draw one is scry 2, draw a card for 3 mana, or we've seen that printed for 1 mana at instant speed in blue. Hello. I've been sent a text. That's nice. I'll check that out later. But yeah, so for 2 mana, sorcery speed, I think this card is useless. I should see no play at all. Alright, Lash of Malice. For 1 mana, target creature gets +2/-2 on the turn. I really like this card. I really like this card. I think this card is great. It's if your opponent has any way to buff their creature, because you can use that as removal, obviously. If they have any way to buff it beyond getting killed, it's like, okay, this is an X2, okay, so I'm going to Lash of Malice that to kill it. I'm going to get +1/+1 for the turn. Oh shit. Now your creature just got, like, more power, and it's not dying, and I feel bad. Yeah, that's going to feel really bad, but otherwise, I could definitely, like, see this card seeing some play. In limited, for sure. Like, yeah, this is kind of sort of removal. So like at least 2.5 out of 5, maybe even 3, because 1 mana instant speed deal 2 damage essentially. Well, that's shock. The shock he playing? Okay, I'll say 2.5. I guess the versatility is you can buff your creature if you really want to get that last damage through with like color attackers. Okay, blockers, block this, okay. Lash of Malice, the thing that's not being blocked, or Lash of Malice, the thing that's going to trade anyway, so we're just going to die anyway, so maybe trade up. Let's see. In standard, I don't think it's quite where you need it to be. This is not Moment of Craving, for one. This is like dead weight, and not even like that. So, yeah, they're actually better. I think there are better things you can do with 1 mana. But if you're facing a super aggressive deck in black and you don't want to use one of your sweepery deepery doos, then sure, if this is what you got. If you don't want to craft a better card that does more things, then sure. I know they're out there. I was like this, like Witch Hunt maybe. I don't know. Something angry, unruly mob that kills a lot of things. There's like basically whatever ritualists would look like you want to name here. Okay. Leech Fanatic is a 2 mana 2/2. As long as it's your turn, it has lifelink. Is there any value to it having lifelink only on your turn? Do you really want to turn off lifelink? Not really. So I'm just otherwise it's just a 2 mana 2/2 for the most part, really. 1 out of 5 limited. It just seems kind of really bad. Like, the fact that it turns itself off actually turns me off. Oh my god. And in standard, it's a 0. It's a big old nothing. What are you doing? Why are you doing that? You shouldn't be doing that. Just keep doing the good thing all the time. Alright, Mage Hunter. This is almost the background, by the way. Just saying. But I decided to go with Liliana because I thought that was more interesting. Okay, more relevant to the plot. Not a whole lot of plot, but there's some plot there, you know, so... Mage Hunter, before I get demonetized. A 4-mana 3/4. Whenever an opponent casts or copies an instant or sorcery spell, they lose 1 life. You know what? That's not too shabby. Unfortunately, you don't want to play this in standard because it's too slow, and in limited it's also kind of sort of too slow, and there's not going to be that many instant or sorceries that your opponent are going to be playing, or your opponent is going to be playing. I don't know. There's a tense there that I gotta worry about that's making me tense as well. So a 4-mana 3/4 that potentially taxes your opponent a little bit, or you know, drains some life. Well, you don't gain life, but you know, just take some life off them, is pretty good. If it was whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, that'd be fantastic. You can easily build towards that and get some value out of there, no problem. But yeah, like a 2 out of 5. Maybe 2.5. It's just average for limited. It's just average. And in standard, like I said, it is useless. Alright. Mage Hunter's Onslaught. I think there's better options that cost less. Obviously, it's not in standard anymore, but Cindervines kind of comes to mind. Beyond that, there are other things you can do. If you want to deal damage, just deal the damage. Just run red, for God's sake. Okay. Mage Hunter's Onslaught is a 4-mana sorcery, destroy target creature or planeswalker. Whenever a creature blocks this turn, its controller loses 1 life. When do they block this turn? So you somewhat obviously want to play this, and you can kind of force your opponent to block or take a bunch of damage with it, actually. This is pretty legit. 4-mana destroy target thing, right? Like creature, planeswalker, destroy target thing that kind of has some semblance of a face, maybe? Yeah, 4 to 5 limited. It's not instant speed removal, but it's removal that does even more. Because you do that, you swing out, okay, I'm gonna block here, here, here. You take 4 damage, or 3 damage, whatever, and then whatever gets through. Or you don't block and you take more damage. This is a super aggressive card and I love it. In standard, it could see play if it was not a sorcery. Because it's sorcery speed removal, it will see none. Novice Dissector. Oh, okay, I was like, Dissector? What? No beast Dissector? Oh, this looks like the thing. I was like, oh, you gotta... Oh, get it while it's hot. I don't know exactly what the quote is from, whatchamacallit? I don't know, the whole Emperor's New Groove, when they have a little pill bug and they have the reed and they slurp it up. I was like, ah, that's the stuff. Anywho, I'm reminded of that. So, 4 mana for a 3/3. You can pay 1 and sacrifice another creature, not this one. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, activate only as a sorcery. So you pay 1 and sack something else to buff something. No. No. No, 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 no. No, terrible. Standard says no. Limited says like 1 out of 5 maybe. Still, no, 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 no. No! Auric Lore Mage. Okay. We're talking about a card now. 4 mana 3/3. You can tap this and search your library for a card, put it into your graveyard, then shuffle. If it's an instant or sorcery card, put a +1/+1 counter on Auric Lore Mage. Now we are talking. So, sure, you put things into your graveyard, whatever. Worth noting, it can buff itself for a little while until you run out of instants and sorceries. Okay, sure, you can build towards that and have it work out. Probably going to be a 4 mana 4/4 pretty soon, and then from there it's 4 mana 5/5, 6/6, 7/7. You're feeling okay. Even if you don't have any more instant sorceries, or you don't have any you want to remove, or any you want to put to the graveyard. Well, you can still just take cards that are irrelevant that you really don't want to top deck at this point in the game and throw them away. You're paying 4 mana for this, so any little 1-drops and 2-drops probably aren't going to make a big impact. Get them out of there. Thin your deck of the cards that are not making a big impact and make it super gassy is what I was going to say. So I did say it. Now I said it. I have no regrets. In limited, this is very strong because your deck size is smaller, and the +1/+1 counter is going to be fairly relevant. So, honestly, limited 5 out of 5, I would take this. I'm not saying this card is going to run away with the game, but if it doesn't get removed, then it could run away with it. In standard, I'm gonna bring it down to like a 3.5 out of 5, because things that slowly buff themselves, and how often do you want to put, I mean, I guess you could put Crocs in the graveyard and then play it later on and fuel it that way. Maybe not putting too many counters on things. There's not that many instants of sorceries that you're going to play from the graveyard, so there's that to contend with as well. But I'll say like a 3.5, maybe a 4 out of 5, because it's still super good. And guess what? It's not legendary. You can play more of these if you want to. If you're lucky enough to pull more of these in your packs, play them, please. Alright. Plum the Forbidden. Is Plum a person? Is Plum a name? Or is Plum like a plumb bob, like something is level? Or is Plum like a verb here? Yes, I'm going to plumb that. No, it doesn't sound right. I will plumb you. No. Plummet? No, just plumb. Just plumb. Okay. 2-mana instant. As in, what does it mean to plumb something? As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may sacrifice one or more creatures. When you do, copy the spell for each creature sacrificed this way. You draw a card and lose 1 life. So you turn your creatures into cards and life loss. But if you're sacrificing pests, which would be kind of ideal, especially if you're playing black and green, then you gain the life back. So it's 2 mana, sack some creatures, draw some cards. And worth noting that you draw at least 1, even if you sack nothing, because you just play it as it is. Yeah, actually, even just for 2 mana, draw a card in black and take some damage, sure. You probably draw 2. Yeah, actually, in limited, this is super nice. This could even see play in standard, I'm not even gonna lie. This could see play in standard if you have like some kind of good token-based deck, or your opponent's gonna wipe your board. Okay, instead of that, all these become cards now. What? Yeah, instead of like you killing my 3 creatures, I'm gonna pay 2 mana and draw a card for each. I know it sounds a lot like Midnight Reaper because it's basically what it is, or Liliana Standard Bearer, but it's good. For 2 mana, that's really good. So yeah, limited, very, very strong card, like 4 out of 5 there. Standard could potentially be a 4 out of 5. Look at these guys. They love each other. He might even still be in the same thing. I don't know. There's Auric. There is one of the Auric. Here are multiples of Auric. Maybe they're all the same guy. We just had shapeshifters. Maybe they're all just that. Who knows? Okay, Poet's Quill. Oh, okay. Well, it's a colored artifact. Cool. For 2 mana, when it enters the battlefield, you learn. An equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has lifelink, and equipped for 2. It's actually not bad at all. In limited, this is fine. This is like a 3.5, maybe even a 4 if you have some decent lessons that you want to pull from the sideboard. If you don't have any, then the 2 mana give a little buff thing isn't that great. You really don't want to do that. So, I mean, the lifelink can be nice for a little while, but it wears off pretty quick. So, yeah, not looking forward to that limited unless you have lessons. If you have the lessons, like 3, maybe even 3.5 out of 5. In standard, unless for some reason you have some super heavy, like, I need to play this lesson, which you probably don't, because none of the effects are really all that unique, then, like, it's not gonna see play. If it came into play equipped, then maybe, but otherwise, no. Then it doesn't, so, I'll give it a 1 out of 5 for, like, standard. It's a huge gap from one to the other, and unfortunately that's the reality of the situation. Professor Onyx, there we go, there she is, look at that. I'm sorry I made your face a little wide, but you know what, I did what I had to do. Okay, 6 mana Planeswalker, legendary Planeswalker, Liliana. Just had to throw that in there. I don't know what she's doing here, but she's teaching people now. You know what, she's found new ways since she's gotten out of the grasp of Bolas due to, you know, largely with the help of Gideon, of course. Now she's over here and maybe doing good things. Okay, so comes out with 5 loyalty. +1, you'll lose 1 life. Well, that feels bad. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 1 into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. Oh. Okay, that's a legit +1. I mean, of course, sure, you can't always play it if you're close to dying. What's your -3, though? Each opponent sacrifices a creature with the greatest power among creatures that player controls. Pretty good. If you're close to dying, leave it -3 instead of +1. Who knows? And -8, each opponent may discard a card. If they don't, they lose 3 life. Repeat this process 6 more times. So considering they have a hand, they want to keep all the cards in their hand, then they take 18 damage. Odds are you can either deal 2 damage shortly after or already dealt 2 damage. Unless they're playing life gain and somehow you got to 6 mana and did this, and maybe not so much. But still, it's not terrible. Then you just keep going like +1 or -3 here and there. You know, you do that little dance, and it's all right. This is definitely a slower card though that I would play in like a control deck. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even read the Magecraft thing. I just skipped right past. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Right, that's how you get the life back. Okay, that's how you do it. And it drains them. Oh my god, this card's a fantastic thing for control or anything that plays a lot of non-creature things, right? Oh wow, okay, we're getting there. Yeah. In Standard, I'm not just gonna say this card's great because I want it to be really good. I'm going to play this card. I want Esper to be a deck again. That's how I feel about it. Just the right amount of hand off the screen so you can kind of see what I'm doing, but not intently. Okay. But yeah, I think this card's fantastic in Limited and Standard. In Limited is also really good because you just drop it down -3, you get card advantage, then you start killing things, and then you win the game with the -8, like you just do. Yeah. Most of the time, the -8 is going to be something along the lines of your opponent goes down to 1 card in hand, maybe they get rid of everything, and still take, I'll say, like, 9 damage. I don't know, like, it's it's pretty legit. Yeah. I'm just gonna go ahead and say 5 out of 5. I don't even care. You see that loyalty? That's what I think. 5 out of 5. Make it happen. Alrighty. Ooh, and here she is again. Professor's Warning. Oh, that sounds a little concerning. So for 1 mana, instant speed, either put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, or it gets indestructible until end of turn. Notably, it does say creature there, so you're not really gonna want to put this too much in the in the control decks. But in Limited, this is fine because, like, for 1 mana, which you can obviously you can easily just have laying around extra, just 1 land untapped that's not really doing much. Yeah, you can suddenly save your creature or buff this, kill their creature, whatever. It's very, very it's very feasible to see this play out and not really hold you back at all. And, it can be really sneaky too, where your opponent has 1 mana left over. Who knows, maybe they just couldn't use it. Oh, turns out they can, and you're screwed. In Standard, maybe you could see some play for that second ability, not for the first one at all, but odds are it's either going to be a Magecraft Enabler, if you're running some sort of Magecraft deck and it turns out they're really good, or you're using it to save a creature, but you'd rather probably use something that does more, and then just like a 1-for-1. Like, instead of you killing my creature, you got rid of this card in my hand. Okay. If you're lucky, 2-for-1 because they were trying to trade and they actually just lose the creature now. Probably not, though. Okay. So yeah, Limited, definitely, like, I'd say like 3.5 out of 5. Standard, I don't think Magecraft decks are going to be a thing. If they are, this is going to be a good card for it. So in that sense, like 3.5. In the case where that is not going to happen, in the case where that's not the case, then it's closer to like a 1.5 or a 2, maybe a 2. I'm pushing it there. Alright. Promising Dusk Mage, 3 mana, 2/3. When it dies, if it had a +1/+1 counter on it, you draw a card. I'm gonna say 0 out of 5 both ways. The odds of that happening seem really, really slim, but we just went over a card that has a counter. I don't care. Unless you can super reliably give it a counter, a 3 mana, 2/3 is the kind of card that can lose you the game because tempo could be that important. And if you're playing this in Standard and I have the combo with it, why don't you just draw cards? Why don't you just play something that draws a card instead of playing something that might still draw you a card with the help of something else? No. Nope. Artwork's kind of cool though. I was like, oh, look at this. And the guy's like, yes, I see potential in this one. Your technique is sloppy, but I like that sort of thing. But there is talent there. Do it again. And keep your right arm in position this time and look away. Don't mind what I'm doing. I'm just gonna sit here and Anyway, sorry, things get weird sometimes here, but that's why we're here, right? Sedgemoor Witch, a 3 mana 3/2 with Menace. Ward, pay 3 life. I don't know if we went over Ward yet for this this color, because there's things in every color, but anywho. Ward is an ability where, whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell or an ability an opponent controls, counter it unless that player pays whatever it says after the ward. In this case, it is 3 life. Sometimes it's mana, sometimes it's life. And there may be some other one that has like sacrificing things. I don't know, I haven't seen it yet, but it's possible. Also, as Magecraft, look at this. We have both Ward and Magecraft in the same card from Strixhaven. Oh, it's all coming together. And Menace, doesn't really matter. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, create a 1/1 black and green pest token. When it dies, you gain a life. Those are both, I mean, and Menace is cool too. These are all very good things. These are all really, really relevant things, actually. This is like, if you trigger that once, you're feeling pretty good. I'm gonna say 4 out of 5 in limited, as long as you have some number of instants of sorceries in your deck that is like greater than 4. Where do I get these numbers? From here. Where does that come from? I don't know. I think I came in from like some kind of meteor that landed about 10 years ago, and I'm just growing at an accelerated rate. In standard, you can trigger this pretty reliably. So if you have a go wide deck and you're trying to do something with the plum, if you're trying to plum things and draw cards, this could be a good enabler. Worth noting that it's whenever you cast, so it's as soon as you do it, this goes off. Although is it? Can you order them? I'm not exactly sure. Hold on, let me go back a little ways. I apologize. Okay, so is it cost to cast the spell? Okay. So when you play this, you choose to sacrifice the things, and then when you cast it, this'll trigger and give you another creature, but you wouldn't be able to sacrifice that creature to this. Okay, so unfortunate, but hey. Still pretty decent thing. Still can synergize. Yeah. Yeah, this card's actually really good. Yeah, I like this card. Oh, geez. Oh my goodness. In standard, like, still not as good because end of the day it could just be like a 3-mana 3/2, but damn, I like it. I like this one. It just generates value. Oh my goodness. And it only costs 3 to play the darn thing too. Yeah. What do I really need to say? It's like a 3 out of 5 there. In standard. Could be better, probably not, but it could be. I could see decks built around this card for sure. As like a huge token generator. Spectre of the Fens is a 4-mana 2/3 flyer. Or you can pay 6, and opponent loses 2 life, you gain 2 life. In limited, only because of the second ability, I'm gonna give it like a 3 out of 5. Because it's a mana sink, and it can get you somewhere, and the fact that you can also gain life with it is nice, because it'll help you last longer. It's a 4 health swing total, versus if it was just deal 2 damage, then sure, but you still need to survive somehow. But since you're gaining life, okay. Standard is C0 play, but unlimited is alright. Oh, that's actually like the 4-mana thing that sacrifices stuff, and that's kind of cool on top of there. Some kind of Spectre? Yeah, some kind of Spectre. Yeah. Alright, Tenured Inkcaster. Huh. Is that graffiti, or are you just happy to see me? Let's see. So for, it looks like it's on the wall. Maybe it's floating. I don't know. 5-mana 2/2. Sounds bad. Enters the battlefield. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. So it could be a 5-mana 3/3. And you're still pushing it here. Whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it attacks, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. No. No. You know a card that didn't actually see any play? Well, that wasn't, no. Okay, here's a card that didn't really see too much play aside from just specifically vampires. Oh, what the hell was it called? Oh, it was a 4-mana thing. I forget what it's called. God darn it. Okay, I almost want to look it up, but that would take too long. So there was a 4-mana one where it had the same effect, except you just have to attack whenever a creature control attacks. Deal 1 damage to your opponent. I think you gained 1 life as well. Maybe, maybe not. And it looked really cool too. But that saw some play specifically only in vampire decks, even though it didn't have to be a vampire that was attacking, pretty sure. So if it was, even then it's like okay, and it wasn't like a corner piece to the deck, it was just all right. Oh god, this is bad. This is bad. This is bad. This is bad. This one here is bad. This is a real bad one. So you got tenure, and what I've seen from people that get tenure is you kind of chill after that, like okay, I did what I gotta do. And I'm gonna, take it easy now, because my spot is secured. So this isn't doing a whole lot. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go so far as to say 0 out of 5. In both things. Like, it could potentially just be a 5-mana 3/3. God no. Umbral Juke. Okay, for 3 mana, choose one. Either does target player sacks a creature or planeswalker, or you make a 2/1 white and black Inkling creature token. So this is the this is a Silver Quill card, as you see from the watermark in the background, but it is just black card and is mono black in nature. So I will go over it now. The first ability isn't very good, even though it was an instant speed edict, sacrifice thing. We had Liliana's hey, there she is. No, we had Liliana's Triumph, and that really, I thought that was gonna be so good, and it saw like no play. And the fact that it says creature or planeswalker, it could be decent. However, say your opponent has a planeswalker and a bunch of little creatures. Okay, I'll sack this little creature and keep the big thing alive. It's never good to give your opponent more options. Yeah, but if they only have planeswalkers, then they have to sacrifice planeswalker, and that's like a big gain there. For 3 mana, you can do better. You can actually just kill the thing outright and not give them the choice. And giving your opponent choices is bad. And 3 mana make a flyer thing is not worth it either. In limited, you don't want to play this. I'll give it like a 1, maybe 1.5. If you have to, you feel bad, but you do it. In standard, you just don't do it. Unwilling ingredient. Okay, 1 mana, 1/1. I like that the ingredient is a creature. I guess it has to have some sort of will to be unwilling, so sure. But I think, oh, that's fine. That's good stuff. All right, that is 1/1 with menace. Yeah, because that matters. 3 mana, exile this from your graveyard. You draw a card and you lose 1 life. Huh. I don't know why it has menace. Is it supposed to make it more difficult for it to die? I mean, don't look at me like that. It was either this or being eaten by a Groff. Okay. Sure. Standard is useless. And limited is just, it's kind of funny, and I could see you doing that just for the 3 mana thing. Like, okay, I got a 1 mana 1/1, and later on I can exile it and draw a card. That's actually not bad at all. That's fine. Imagine 1 mana 1/1 draw a card. I would play that every single time. Even in standard, I would probably play that, and yeah, I'd play that and have no concerns, and have no regrets. This is not what that card. That's not what this card is. It has to find some way to die first. Although you could play it with the whole Auric Guildmage thing. Was it Guildmage or was it some other mage? Oh, I'm gonna go back in time. Oh my goodness, Lore Mage. It was Lore Mage. Can I just hold this button down? Nope. Okay, so you can play it with the Lore Mage to dump it directly into the graveyard, which would be pretty cool. Yeah, I like the card. In limited, like, I'm just gonna say like 3 out of 5. It's actually pretty legit. In standard, unless you play it specifically with the Lore Mage, it's worthless. Even if you're playing it with the Lore Mage, it's like maybe a 1.5. I wouldn't be surprised if this saw 0 play. 0. I like the idea though. And that's it. We did it. We're under 40 minutes. That's a value. That's like that's a value. That's an accomplishment. That is good things. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. If you like what you saw, if you don't like what you saw, let me know. Let me know how I can improve things. If you like things, cool. Let me know what you liked. And let me know Orioles. I don't really have much of an opinion, but I'm wearing the shirt because I have the shirt, okay? So I got a few more videos to make. They should be coming out soon. I have 3 more, okay? I'm almost there. I gotta do the green and the red and the colorless and we'll be done. And then the set's gonna come out, and we'll see if I'm right. Hey, and look, I'm just gonna be 100% 10 out of 10. Look at that. They're gonna go back to these videos in like history class and be like, this is the guy who nailed it. Yeah. So anyway, I'm like, well, what am I pointing out exactly? These like this rib structure. That's kind of cool. I like the. It looks like bones almost. Anywho, thank you so much for watching, and without further ado, good night or good morning, depending on where you are in the world. But as always, good luck.